is explain the second part. This is really tomorrow's exercise. So this is twofold. Some of you are still finishing today's exercise. If you're still finishing today's exercise, which was the timeshare thing, if you're still finishing that up, continue working on that. If you're done with that, which most of you, some of you are actually, then you want to do this one here. It's called SQL Query Practice. I just put it up here. I decided which one I was going to do second while observing what kind of level of difficulty I was getting. So I picked the easier of the options, actually. So SQL Query Practice looks like this. It's a 16-page, again, it's an SQL exercises. But it requires that you make the databases first, and it doesn't give you the queries, but it gives you the databases. So in here we have a material that was adapted from a tutorial, essentially. And you get the database. So if you cut and paste out of the PDF, because one student has actually already done this, what you end up with, oh, I have this loaded twice, is you'll get 1, 2, 3, 4 tables that you'll create. The tables are going to be pretty consistent, which is part of the exercise, because the goal of this one is to run some queries. And you're designing queries to work with the tables. Tables are given to you. If you cut and paste out of here, you might end up with some cut and paste errors that come from PDFs. So you might have to edit this a little bit. We had the same problem actually in the Android class and in the iPhone class. Cutting and pasting out of PDF doesn't always work well. But what you're going to do is cut and paste, create the tables. So the table queries are here. So as an example, if you start in the beginning, here's the database. The database consists of a hotel, a room, a booking, and a guest table. And they're giving you, so creating the tables here, ignoring the foreign keys and the primary keys. We're going to create a table hotel. You might need to change, I don't think you need to change any of the syntax. The syntax should work as is, but you might need to make sure you don't have any extra special characters in there from the cut and paste. You could theoretically just type them in if you didn't want to cut and paste them in. But there's the, and here's the create room table, and here's the create table booking, and this is the date format that's going to be used for the date time, so which is the default format. And here's the guest table. And then you're going to populate the tables. So here's an example query on a insert into hotels, and you're going to stick this one into the hotels. Use this data in here, because when you run the queries, it's going to ask you for some certain things that are associated with this data. So insert in, populate the tables in, update the tables, setting price is equal to price times 1.05. It's basically a bunch of practice that you're going to do. And then you're going to create a separate table with some structure as a booking table to hold archive records, and then you're going to use the insert statement. And if you go to the next slide, here's the table, booking old, and then you're going to insert into booking old. All the stuff's given for you. So run through the first part of it. This is why I say this is the easier one. It allows you just to create it on your own, just to follow through the steps, create the information. Now let's go back to the query part of this. This one's all about the queries. So, refreshing your memory here on this. These are the tables you're working with. We have simple queries to get you started, listing the full details of all hotels. Well, that's select star from hotels or something, listing the full details of all hotels in London, where something. So it's baby steps essentially. There's 5 simple queries. There are aggregate functions. There's 4 aggregate functions. The interesting thing is that most of these are in black and some of them are colored. I don't know why, actually. How many hotels are there? Well, you're going to count or something. I believe that, I don't know why there's color coding in here, by the way, so maybe I'll figure that out. What is the average price of a room? What is that? So these will be using aggregates. And then we have subqueries and joins. This is the part that you're going to find a little bit more challenging, especially if you haven't done any of the joins yet. You can use any of the techniques that you want, like listing the price of type of rooms at the Governor Hotel. Well, the Governor Hotel is in there because it wanted you to insert. So if you put in more data than the insert, then you'll have more tables or more hotels that come out of your search. You don't actually have to show me the query results. You need to show me the queries. So how are you going to turn this one in is after you create all the stuff, when I go to your account, your student number XYZ, I'm going to see your trade wins, or your, what do you call it, your table that you created here. Hold on one second. I'm going to look at you for a second. I'm going to look at student number 41, because he's already done it. For student number 41, if you look up here in the left-hand corner, I see timeshare, and then I see query practice. So you have to go in and create another database. Oh no. This is the same technique you did the first time, but call this one query or exercise 2 or practice, or just call it something. Whatever happened. Or if you already have it created, like some of you actually created one by accident, or you have multiples, put it in one of them. So it doesn't really matter which one it's in, but the tables are going to look like this, and his query practice looks like this. So I can easily differentiate the two of them, so I can see that you did both of them. If you stick it all into one, it's going to get too confusing to look at. Plus, you wouldn't be able to you wouldn't have any practice creating another database. So create another database object. You don't have to send me anything until the end. At the end, you send me an email message that has your answers. Basically, give me your queries. Your queries are in 3 sets. You have simple queries, aggregate functions, subqueries and joins, actually 4 sets, I'm sorry, groupings. So that looks like a lot, but they're very similar. And this is the part you're actually going to be assessed on. These are your queries. We'll see how far you get through it. I have a solution for this at the very, 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 very end, but I'd like to see you do it first. So you send me another email that has this in it, and then you're pretty much done with it. So one of them is going to focus on grouping. So listing the number of rooms in each hotel. You're going to have to group it by hotel. So if you go through the beers and bars and drinkers SQL tutorial, it has all the groupings. It has all the aggregates. In fact, that tutorial is separated out into different sections with each one of the different areas. So anyway, if you do have any questions on it, again, I'll be walking around so you can ask me questions about it. But this is, if you're not done with the first one, continue working on the first one. Start this one. We'll finish this one tomorrow, but we'll spend the rest of today working on this one because I don't want to lecture. It's already almost 5. It's 4:45 or 20 to 5. So we'll run until 6 o'clock today, but you can use the time as you wish to work on this activity and the previous activity. So, do I have any questions? Okay, then I'm going to stop this recording.